Hey, good evening, everybody. It is April 19th, 2024. 6 days until the NFL draft begins. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good, Dave. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a minute since we've been on the mic, especially together. So
Yeah.
I'm just excited to be back, man.
Yeah, I'm excited we're back together again. I took a brief hiatus and came back. Last week was the inaugural show of Mile High Breakdown. I had to go solo because Matt decided he wanted to go out and celebrate his birthday. So happy belated birthday to Matt.
Yeah, finally
Hey,
hitting the 30s, man.
yep. Hey, Eddie, what is up? How you doing today? Thanks for joining us, Adam and Gayla. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have everybody here. We're going to talk a little bit of Bronco news and happenings and stuff like that, and then Matt and I are gonna share our mock draft with you. We're just gonna run through one draft and we'll go from there. So, just a reminder to everybody: hey, if you're allow StreamYard to use your Facebook name. If you don't want to allow StreamYard to use it, just in your comment, put your name somewhere so we know who we are talking to. So, and then next Thursday, we will have NFL draft coverage on Thursday. It will be the debut of the Orange and Blue Hour. I think we're going to have a little extra people on there to be a draft panel. We'll also have some coverage on Friday during the Mile High Breakdown show, and then we'll see if we're going to have some coverage on Saturday for a third day round. So we will keep everybody updated. All right. Eddie's going to be the big 3-6 on Monday. Ooh, man, I wish I could say it's 36 again. Jeez, man, that's a
Man,
long,
it's
long
been.
time. I can't even remember that far back.
I'm sure you can. I'm positive that you can.
23
Now, if you
years
want to
ago, I
tell
can
us,
remember.
now, if you want to tell us what you were doing when you were 36 and 30, that might be a story for another time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely not here. So, all right. But hey, we got Graham Tico with us as well in the background. He is our producer. Be nice to him. He's the guy who will flash your comments up on the screen. So make sure you give Graham a tip or something like that, or at least be nice to him so he'll put you up there. So also want to announce that starting this Sunday, we will have a new show on Colorado Sports Connect, the Rocky Mountain Blitz. It'll be Eddie Eddie Keating will be doing his show called the Rocky Mountain Blitz here on CSC. So, what time did we decide on that?
7 p.m. on Sunday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, which is awesome. This kind of segues us into another good point. Hey, we're always looking to grow in talent-wise too. Right now, I believe Eddie's planning on doing his show alone. So if you're interested in possibly getting on, talking some Broncos, maybe join Eddie on that show. Come join Dave and I on this show. Maybe come hang out with Travis Wakeman and me on Thursdays. And, we're always looking to grow Broncos talent. We have some awesome Avalanche content. I think, Dave, you already hit on that, but we're looking to bring some more people on there. So if you're interested in joining the CSC team, we always have a spot for you. Just let one of us know.
Yep, definitely reach out to us. Reach out to either Matt, Graham, or myself. So, and we will entertain all offers. So, all right, hey Matt. Broncos started voluntary sessions last week. Cortland Sutton did not show up. What do you make of that? He's also looking for a new contract. I mean, he currently has 2 years left on his deal. He wants a new contract. The guy's had 12 touchdowns in 2 years. I mean, he hasn't had 1,000-yard season and I don't know how long. I mean, what do you make of it? Is he going to be a potential holdout come training camp? Two, if you're the Broncos, do you give this guy a new contract?
No, I mean, I wouldn't. Cortland's been great. He had a great season. I mean, we've heard some people come to his aid saying, yeah, he was one of the bright spots. Yeah, he is one of the bright spots. But unfortunately, if we look at it as a whole, it's been relatively disappointing since post ACL. I mean, I don't think as he's getting older he's worth that third contract at this point. I mean, he's also been very vocal about how some of the Broncos moves, especially this offseason, have frustrated him.
Mhm.
The social media shenanigans, the not reporting a training camp now. I mean, I think as of right now, everything is trending for him to be on the roster. I don't think he's going to be moved currently. A lot of people were talking about, could he be a piece that's used to move up from 12 to, pick your spot after pick 3.
Right.
And Eddie and I actually were talking about this, and I just don't think that that's realistic. A lot of these teams right now, they're not really in contend mode. They're not looking to get a wide receiver who's approaching 30, wanting more money. They're kind of in rebuild phase themselves. Now, could this be a good target for Baltimore? We tried to trade him to Baltimore once already. So maybe a pick swap. Do we throw 76 in Sutton for 62 and 90, whatever their third round pick is? I think it's 96. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
Um, is it one of those situations? But I think right as of right now, everything points to him at least being on the roster up until the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's possible. AJ Brown is rumored to be moving from Philadelphia possibly to the Patriots, and the compensation for him is going to be a second round pick. So I'm thinking best for Cortland. You're going to get maybe a fourth, at the highest. So I just don't see what value. Like you said, maybe he's involved in a draft day package to move up. I actually did a mock earlier today, and I moved from 12 to 7, swapped with Tennessee because uh, McCarthy was still on the board. So, um, so I moved up to 7, and Cortland was part of my trade package. But maybe something like that, shakes out. So maybe he's part of a draft day trade to move up and grab a quarterback that we need. So
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible. I just know that even with some of this disgruntledness, I still think he's going to be on the roster, at least post draft. I think if he's moved, it'll be a deadline type deal. I think he's staying put for now. I think they'll come to some sort of agreement. I mean, Sean Payton's a very persuasive man. If he can sell him like, hey, we're building a future here, we want you a part of it, but we're going to need you to, you got your pay check last time. We're going to need you to take one for the team. Could he convince him? Who knows at this point? But I do think, like I said, I think he will be on this roster post draft.
yeah, and this is an interesting comment from Mike from Mile High Roundtable, uh, saying that Sutton's going to be involved in a trade to move up to 9, and in his situation, McCarthy will still be sitting on the board at 9. So you
I mean,
know,
now that's interesting. I mean, that if the draft does fall this way, if McCarthy does slide, but I mean, everything that we've been hearing, it's been quarterback 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just not sure McCarthy slides past 4. The big name now the Giants are looking at moving up. It's also a week out of from the draft. Who knows what's true anymore? Everyone's just
right?
throwing whatever they can, whatever
Yeah,
curveball they can.
you hear a lot of crazy things this time. For next week, we're going to hear a lot of crazy things. It's hard to tell what to believe. What's true, what's a smoke screen. So, um, Eddie did have an interesting comment after yesterday's press conference with George Payton and Sean Payton. He's certain that the Broncos are definitely drafting a QB in round 1. He's saying either Nix or McCarthy. I'm sort of along the lines with you, Matt. I think McCarthy doesn't slide past 6. You know, Nix, I'm not drafting Bo Nix at 12. I just don't think he's worth it. Um, I wouldn't draft anybody outside of the big four. Williams, Daniels, Drake May, and McCarthy. I don't think there's anybody I would take at 12. I'm going to take my chance. And if I have to slide down and they're not available and I have to work my way back into the second round to grab a Spencer Rattler or something like that, then that's what I'm doing. So, but what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Um, like I said, I do think McCarthy goes kind of outside of that range that Denver has the capital to move up and grab. There was a couple comments coming through here saying Surtain would have to be part of the trade. I don't think Surtain would be going anywhere. I agree with Mike here. Nothing's trending that way. Every source that we've had hasn't even really mentioned his name. I think Jason LaCafora threw out something a few days ago saying that Surtain was nearly dealt at the deadline, and then they won a couple games and strung a couple things together and changed their mind. I mean, who knows? Well, once again, we're a week out from the draft. And then going back to JJ McCarthy, what we've heard from him is he could be going as early as 2 to as late as 12. It's really been hit and miss. We don't know, where his true value is. Where I have hesitations with McCarthy is, can he come in and produce day one? When you're drafting at 12, you're going to want a guy who can probably make an impact. And everything we've been hearing from Kliss to other, kind of local guys, beat guys, that they're hearing it is Broncos. I mean, quarterback for the Broncos in round one. But I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure that I love the value of that quarterback if it's not going to make an immediate impact. And I'm just not sure
Yeah.
McCarthy will make that immediate impact at 12. I think he's got the tools and traits. That doesn't mean that he couldn't be successful day one. I just don't know if I trust him enough at 12.
Yeah, and I think if Mike's right here, McCarthy does slide the 9 to 12. I think if you're the Broncos, you have to try to get up there
I
and
mean,
get.
in that case, you have to.
And even if he's not your day one starter, and you roll out with Stidham at the beginning, and McCarthy takes over around the midpoint of the season or something, or sooner whenever he's ready,
Yeah, I
we have
mean,
to get this right finally, once and for all. We have to get this right. So
yeah, I mean, if you listen to the conference with, where George Payton said we like 7 or 8 guys, we all know that that's probably just coach talk. They really got probably 1 or 2 guys that they really like.
right,
Maybe a guy that's going to be up in the early, maybe someone more close to the mid. Um, like I said, this team, while it's close, it's improving. It still has a long way to go. I think the most important thing you have to do here at 12 is find the impact player. I think that the difference between maybe a Nix and a Rattler may not be as great of a difference as we think. Or where does
right.
Penix fall in this? I know we've heard the injuries. Without the injuries, Michael Penix, talent-wise, is probably the second quarterback taken in this class if he's healthy. So
And
it's a hard class. I mean, last year, if we go back to last year, a week before the draft, I think Will Levis had the highest odds to be the first quarterback taken a
right.
week before the draft. So, I mean, so hard to trust anything that's coming out right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. It is hard. So, and I like this comment here. Hey, and this would be a good bridge guy. Grab Tannehill, and get you a rookie and let him learn for a little bit, and then let him take over.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the thing that we've been hearing is that there's still going to be something, a veteran added to that quarterback room. The 2 names that have been floating around the most has been Tannehill. The other one has been Zach Wilson. So I'm curious to see,
Yeah, but Zach
does
Wilson.
Sean Payton find intrigue in another reclamation project? I mean, some people argue he inherited Breeze as somewhat of a reclamation project. I would say that uh, Zach Wilson is significantly behind the curve in comparison, but is out of direction. Maybe he wants to go. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's edge at 12. Maybe it's trade back at 12, selected edge at 18, because maybe the Bengals want to come up and grab one of those tackles. They got to protect their investment, who's been hurt often,
Yes,
unfortunately, in Burrow. So is it one of those situations where we end up getting Jarrett Stidham, Spencer Rattler, or Zach Wilson type deal, and he's going to find out who fits, and if it doesn't work,
you go at it again next year. You know,
exactly.
and
So it's
the
difficult to
philosophy is
gauge
you
where they're
draft
truly at.
the philosophy is you draft a quarterback every year until you get it right.
I mean, at this
You
point,
know,
it's throwing
so
darts at a board because we've missed on every opportunity we've had since 2016.
right.
So,
So
I mean, if we focus on Denver solely, I think there's only 2 positions that anyone should even consider them drafting in their first round. I think it is only quarterback. If quarterback of value or the quarterback they love is not there, I think it's an edge rusher.
yeah. Mike has another good comment here. Denver going back to
Similar thing.
19 and getting a second rounder. So
Yeah, Nick Stock has over the last, I would say probably over the last 3.5 weeks. On certain boards, we've seen Nick start to slide a little bit more and more to kind of that early second round, kind of pick 40 has been where we've seen him kind of start to fall on boards. So this could definitely be something that is, realistic. Trade
Yeah.
back, like I said, Bengals is a perfect example. You trade back with the Bengals, they come grab their tackle, you move back. Maybe Latu out of UCLA, his stock is kind of similar to Penix because of injuries, but the dude's a nightmare when he's healthy. Is that maybe a spot at 18 where you're getting that dominant pass rush, and then you come back up in the second and grab a Nix? Maybe you pair your inherited second round pick, and then that pick 76 come up and get your quarterback, and you got two primo positions you just took care of.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you need to trade back and get some more draft capital and still get the guy that you want or you're comfortable with, then you go ahead and do it. But don't reach at a quarterback, and don't. We can't sit there and reach at a quarterback because um, because we're afraid what's going to happen right behind us with the Raiders, Saints, and Seahawks. We can't overdraft somebody for that fear. So, and I think that's an accurate statement. There is Rattler does have a stronger arm than Nix, but Nix is more accurate and less panicky. So, I mean, I think he's more calm in the pocket. Rattler likes to get outside and sort of Russell Wilson style and make things happen.
Yeah, he likes to be a gunslinger. But then
Yes,
now, see, the difference between Breeze, Rattler, Russell is who can do it the most efficiently from the pocket. If we get somewhere in the mid between those two and he can stay in the pocket and run it efficiently, I'm all for it.
right.
Um,
So
the quarterback nobody wants to talk about is Penix, and a lot of people want to disregard him because A, of injuries, B, because he comes from Washington. I mean, Nix comes from Oregon. They're both kind of gimmicky offenses. They're not exactly pro efficient
right.
offenses. However, this dude, if you look at his charts, and everyone said he can't throw in the middle of the field, but he's actually incredibly efficient in the middle of the field. So, I mean, in reality, you can pick your guy. I mean, we can throw darts at a board and it's going to hit one. We could say we like this guy one day and then we like someone else the next day. We're essentially, we know that Sean Payton's going to have his guy, and that's who his guy is going to be.
Yeah, and like Mike says here, Penix has that third round grade. I mean, there's even going to be some guys you might be able to work with in the third round. Him and Pratt out of Tulane. I mean, those guys may be viable options as well. I'm not too concerned about um, Penix's injury history. I mean, that happened 2 years ago at Indiana. He went to
He's been healthy
Washington,
since then. I mean, his
stayed
medical's
fairly
been clear.
healthy at Washington. And I think he's changed his playing style a little bit, and he's not as free to run and get banged up like he was at Indiana. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, real quick, as we stay on Broncos quarterback, pick 12. If you have three targets, who are your three targets? And then I'll throw my three targets. And then I don't know if it's you or Graham who's bringing up the PFF or our mock draft simulator. I'm
I'll
not
bring it up as soon as we're
perfect.
ready. So,
Okay, cool.
um, my three targets. If I'm moving up, if I'm moving up, um, I'm moving up to try to get probably Drake May. So I'm going to try to get up to number 3 with the Patriots if I can, to get Drake May. If I'm staying put, I'm not taking a quarterback really. I don't, unless McCarthy slides all the way to 12. I'm not going to take Bo Nix or anybody else at 12. So if I stay at 12 and McCarthy slides to 12, I'll take him at that point because I think he may not be your day one guy, but I think you could bridge him for half a season and then roll him in there. And then trading back, I would say my target would probably be either Bo Nix or Spencer Rattler, one of those two, depending on where I'm trading back to. I mean, I like what Mike has said. You trade back, you get some defensive help in the mid part of the first round, and then the second round, you go ahead and grab, your quarterback there, your developmental guy there. So that's my targets there.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna just go look at it as, hey, I'm staying at 12. I'm gonna take a little bit of a different approach. So my target number one, even at 12, would probably be Latu out of UCLA. we need to get an impact player. I mean, we go back to the Justin Fields, Patrick Surtain, and Micah Parsons that draft. And even though we look at it, Patrick Surtain's great for what he was, but we look at Micah Parsons. Granted, then there was character issues. It's a dominant force. It's a primo position. And when you're picking this early in the draft, you have to have someone who can make an impact. I think Latu fits that build perfectly. The other side of this coin, if he falls to 12, I don't think you can pass on him, and that's Brock Bowers. I think you look at a guy who could play not only tight end, but also play a role similar to what Michael Thomas did in that New Orleans Saints offense. You got a guy, you can find someone that's Stidham or one of these other quarterbacks. Maybe you get in the second or third round, can identify, and it's a safety blanket for them. And we also haven't really had a dominant receiving threat, and this guy can do it all. And then third, if you're going to take a quarterback, I think the only quarterback that makes sense at 12 is Bo Nix. I don't love the value for it. I think you could move back and get him. But in this stake, Broncos just play it safe. They get their guy at 12. I think it's Bo Nix. He fits the system the best. He utilizes the middle of the field. He's good at running screens, perfect at running screens. Most of his routes that he was throwing to average depth, the route is less than 7 or less than 8 yards. Sean Payton likes those quick, right across the middle throws. He just fits the best. Is he the best quarterback of that value? Probably not, but if he's Sean Payton, if we've learned anything about Sean Payton, he values system fit from Teddy Bridgewater to Taysom Hill to Jameis Winston. We've seen it's more about the systemic fit for him.
Okay.
So I think that's for sure.
All right. So what we're going to do now, Matt and I are going to run through a 1-round mock draft.
Exactly. That's why if he's there, that's the pick, hands down.
And I agree too. And I probably misunderstood your question, Matt. I thought you said
no. I said I'm going to stay at 12. I just said who's your top three targets. No,
okay.
You're good. Your version of the answer was fine.
Okay. But yeah, if Bowers is there and you're sitting there at 12, then you got to take that guy. I mean,
if Bowers is there and you can, I would be down to jump the Jets and try to get Bowers.
Or someone like a Jared Verse or someone like that.
No, if we're not taking another Florida State edge. Let's not. And then switch in between defensive end, edge rusher, defensive tackle. Let's not do that again.
All right, man. All right. The way this is going to work, I'm going to have the odd picks. Matt will have the even picks. So I am going to be first on the board as the Chicago Bears, and I think this is probably going to be a no-brainer here, but it's all but pretty much locked in that the Bears are going with Caleb Williams. And I think if I were the GM, this is probably the quarterback I would take too. I think he is probably the most talented quarterback in this draft class. So that's where I am going with that pick. And Matt, you are now on the clock with the Washington Commanders, and what are you going to do here? They got needs of quarterback, tight end, offensive line, edge, and defensive back.
I'm going to keep it straight, simple, to the point. Out of the two quarterbacks, I think that Jaden Daniels is a better fit for Kingsbury for what they want to do. He's had some pro comps to Russ. We all know how familiar Quinn is with Russ. I think you're taking your good old LSU guy in Jaden Daniels right here.
All right, there we go. So now the New England Patriots are on the board. New England, I think, needs a quarterback here too. They also need wide receiver. They need a tackle. They need an edge guy. I just don't see how they could pass up on a quarterback. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is their answer. Mac Jones is not their answer. Bailey Zappi is not their answer. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm going with Drake May out of the University of North Carolina. All right, Matt, you are on the clock with the Arizona Cardinals.
Are we doing trades or not? I can't remember.
We can do trades if you want to propose trades.
Perfect. This would probably be a position where someone may be trying to come up and grab that other quarterback. I think on draft night it's going to happen. However, Right now, Arizona's in the middle of rebuilding. That's the team I think it could end up coming up and trying to grab JJ McCarthy. They've got Daniel Jones for another year. We've seen the work that Brian Dabble has done with quarterbacks like Josh Allen. We've seen the decline of Josh Allen since after Dabble had left. However, for this sake, I'm going to keep the Cardinals on the board because I think that they have identified their top target at wide receiver, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Here's another spot, where the Chargers could trade out of here. The Chargers got a lot of issues, though. I mean, they are now really have a lot of issues at the wide receiver position, but everything coming out of Chargerland is they're going to take a tackle because Harbaugh wants to establish that run game. That's going to be their main focus is running the ball, and that's been predominantly him. And I can see that. This is a rich draft for wide receivers. They can pick up a receiver later in later rounds that's going to be productive. I don't think you're going to get anybody better than Joe Alt from Notre Dame as an offensive tackle. So I see the Chargers taking Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
This is where I have Minnesota trading up right there. That's where
Right
it's
there.
at.
And I could see it as a possibility right there. Minnesota going up to number 5 and grabbing Drake May, getting ahead of the Giants to make that selection.
Yeah, and everyone's been talking about the Giants taking a receiver.
Oh,
It's
I'm
looking
sorry,
for a
JJ
run.
McCarthy. I said Drake May. I meant JJ
Right, you're
McCarthy.
good. No, you're good. I got you. So Malik Neighbors this is the most off spot for Malik Neighbors. However, I don't think that this will be the pick. I think in this scenario, Brian Dabble and everyone not out in the Meadowlands is caught and win. JJ McCarthy, there's no real threat to him. They're able to sit here and continue to build. They're going to get a guy that they feel is the future, and I think they take JJ McCarthy right here.
All right, let me grab him for you really quick. All right, then on the clock, the Tennessee Titans. And in my draft earlier that I did, I actually traded Denver up from 12 because McCarthy had slid down. So one I did earlier today, I traded up to Tennessee, involved Cortland Sutton in the trade package because Tennessee is looking for a wide receiver. Traded up and grabbed J.J. McCarthy. But being that they are sitting here, they got a lot of needs. They need offensive line people. But if Malik Neighbors is sitting there and you got Rome Odunze sitting there as well, I don't see how Tennessee can pass up either of those. And I'm going to go with the guy who I think is going to be the Justin Jefferson of this year's draft, and that's Malik Neighbors out of LSU.
That is fair. This would be another area. Let's say McCarthy would somehow still be on the board, like in Mike's scenario. This would probably be another situation where now it's a little bit more reasonable for Minnesota to maybe come up, get in front of the Bears. We know that the Bears aren't going to give them anything cheap. So this could be a potential target for Minnesota if McCarthy's still on the board here. However, in our scenario, he's not. So I think that the Falcons will stay put here, and they will take Dallas Turner out of Alabama, edge rusher.
All right, let me find him. All right, Chicago Bears are back on the clock again. They don't need their quarterback anymore because they got Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick. I could honestly see the Bears trading out of here and getting some more draft capital if they want. But if you're going to sit here and draft for need, I think one more stud receiver to put in there, because how long is Keenan Allen really going to stick around there? Get a young guy, and this is where Rome Odunze is going to fit in. I'm going to go Rome Odunze to the Chicago Bears here at 9.
No, that's perfect. And now the Jets are on the board, and no matter how bad Robert Saleh wants to take Latu or another one of these corners to pair with Sauce Gardner, they're holding him away from the phone, saying no more defensive players. We need an impact guy for Aaron Rodgers, and this is where Brock Bowers comes off the board.
All right, now we have Minnesota up. Minnesota, I really don't think in the real world is going to be sitting here at 11. I think they're going to find their way up to get a quarterback, maybe all the way up to 3 with New England, and trading for picks 11 and pick 23. I think they have. But in this situation, being that we passed by, um, I'm going to have them going probably with a defensive back. And my favorite out of this group of cornerbacks coming out is actually Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. This guy's stock is rising. I can see him being a good fit for Minnesota there. All right, Matt, this is the one everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah,
You are
absolutely. I
George
mean,
Payton, and you're sitting here at 12, and
we're sitting here at 12, and I'm feeling that there's no real threat at quarterback. You just took probably the only pick that I would say I would take here at pick 12. I think, I do like Latu, but I think he's going to slide because people are worried about the injury history. Quinny and Mitchell, Terry and Arnold have both been kind of mocked here when they're not taking Brock Bowers, when they're not taking Bo Nix. I don't think the Broncos take Bo Nix here at 12. Can we see who's offering me a trade here?
we got the
Philadelphia,
Eagles,
and who's my other one?
or you got the Dallas Cowboys at pick 24.
I don't want the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see if they'll give us 22 and 53. Because I think
22
they're
and
going to want to keep.
53 for 12, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to cost that much. I think they're okay with that coming back. I think that's what we end up getting that second round pick.
All right. The trade was accepted. The Eagles are now on the clock. Matt, what are you going to do here for the Eagles?
I'm taking who I think the Eagles really, really like, and that's Terry on Arnold.
All right. All right. The Raiders. This is an organization that you never have no idea what these guys are going to do. They are desperate for a quarterback. I honestly think the Raiders, if they're sitting here and Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. are both on the clock, I think they're going to overdraft one of those two, and I can see them going with Michael Penix Jr. At this point. So because that's just the Raiders, and that's what the Raiders do.
That is exactly what they would do.
maybe I should ask them if I could get a job there. All right, Matt, you got the Saints on the clock.
The Saints, could they look at quarterback? No, I think they could. I think that your other receiver out of LSU could be a potential pick here. I think it's a little bit early. They could look at defensive line help. However, I think that they take Olu Fasano out of Penn State and try to protect Derek Carr a little bit better.
All right, so taking the tackle out of Penn State. All right, now this is where I see the other LSU receiver going if he's sitting there. Brian Thomas Jr. will go. Let me see if I can find him. But there we go. Brian Thomas Jr. I see going to the Indianapolis Colts.
All righty. Seahawks, same thing. Could they take a quarterback? Sure. I mean, at the same time, Geno Smith has provided serviceable. They've made the playoffs with him the year before last. They had some decent success. Decent playmakers out there. One place they're struggling is to protect the quarterback and ultimately to just continue to get that run game going. So I think that they take Talisi Fuaga out of Oregon State here, and they're going to have him play guard.
All right. Oh, they're going to slide him into guard, huh? Okay. All right. Next on the line, up next is Jacksonville Jaguars. Their needs are guard, center, edge rusher, and a defensive back. At this point, am going to go with an edge rusher, and I'm going to go with Jared Verse out of Florida State to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, now we're to the Bengals. This is who ideally I would see trading up with Denver to try to get Fashanu out of Penn State. Um, didn't happen in this case. I still think they go tackle, and they're going to take, I think, the best tackle that is a true tackle on the board, and that's J.C. Latham out of Bama. He's right there at the bottom.
Oh, was he? Okay, there we go. All right. The Rams on the clock at this time. This is where I sort of get a little nervous if you're a Bo Nix fan of where teams can start to trade him. And the Rams are going to start looking past Matthew Stafford. You know, the guy's gotten banged up a little bit. And I'm going to say here that the Rams and Sean McVay are going to pick Bo Nix from the University of Oregon.
I see what you did there.
All right, now my wife is sitting here, Matt, and she's probably watching this pick and wondering what you're going to do for her Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, we all know what Russ loves to do, and Russ loves to run around and hold the ball for a very long time. This is a very tackle heavy class. They're all graded out pretty well. This is another team. If we look at quarter teams that could move up with Denver, even move up a little bit closer to that range to get in front of teams like New Orleans, who's going to kind of take that second level tackle or the second rated tackle. Pittsburgh's another team you're looking at possibly moving up. So maybe this is another potential trade spot for the Broncos or for a team that's in front of the Saints. In this case, they get a good guy. I think he's kind of the JJ McCarthy of tackles here. We don't really know what his ceiling. He has a really high ceiling, kind of a really low floor. It's kind of the unpredictable guy here in Amarius Mims out of Georgia. The dude's a physical specimen. He just got to get technique down a lot better.
Okay. You going with Mims?
Absolutely. They got to find some way if Russell Wilson's going to be their quarterback.
Okay. All right. Here's another team that is in an interesting situation come quarterback. They need to make a decision on what they're going to do with Tua. Is Tua their long-term answer? You know, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, your needs right now, really big needs are tight end, offensive line, and interior defensive linemen. So, yeah, you can pick somebody here. If I'm them, I'm actually maybe going to trade back, maybe get some more draft capital, and maybe pick up a quarterback maybe in the second round. So I'm going to see who's offering a trade with the Dolphins right now, and that is the
That
Buffalo
never
Bills.
gonna happen. I'm just kidding.
No, and you definitely are not going to trade with somebody within your division so they can come up and make your life a little bit more what you call it. So if they have no takers, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with Newton, their interior defensive lineman out of Illinois.
I actually think that's actually a pretty solid pick for them. They did just lose Christian Wilkins, as now he's a Vegas Raider. They
Yep.
have some shoes to fill. Another place, it's not listed on there, but I think you could even argue to edge Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, both coming off season-ending injuries. We know how Chubb
Very
is.
good point.
We here in Denver and out here know in Broncos country how Chubb reacts after coming back from these things. It takes him a while to get in the groove of things. And unfortunately, he's just getting up there.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And that's good valid point right there. So now you got your Denver Broncos back on the clock, but the Los Angeles Rams moved in, spoiled your plan, Matt. So now what are you doing? Are you staying here? You going to try to trade
absolutely.
back?
No, my plan is right on track. I'm completely happy with what's going on here.
Oh, okay.
We are going to take Latu out of UCLA and get our next big dominant edge rusher. This he's got incredible talent. You're getting him at a steal of a rate. You've picked up your second round pick. You're going to have some flexibility to kind of come around and move up and see if you really like Rattler. Can you get in front of someone like the Vikings who maybe want to take that quarterback in the second round? So you've definitely opened up the door for yourself here.
Yeah. Minnesota Vikings sitting here at 23 has all kinds of needs. If I'm the Vikings here, I'm going to probably just go with the best player available, and that may be Cooper DeJean or Dijon out of
So you think they could
Iowa.
go back-to-back cornerbacks?
Oh, that's right. They did pick that one above. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
forgot
I'm
you picked
saving
it.
you there. I was like, where are you going with that one?
Nope, nope. You got that covered. So I guess I should pay attention. So what I would do then, I would see what trades I have available. You have a trade with the Vikings. You have one with San Francisco if you want, and you have one with Kansas City. And we're going to say they're going to trade with Kansas City. They're going to get 32 and 64 for 23.
Oh, 57% chance. See if they'll do it. Oh, they took it.
So now the Kansas City Chiefs are on the board. The Chiefs are in a situation where they really need either offensive line help because their tackles are aging. Their right
They
tackle,
need
I can't
someone to
remember
catch
his
the
name.
ball.
Who's their right tackle? That guy struggled all year. So, but I'm going to go with Fatana out of Washington here. They could also go with the recent developments with Rashee Rice. They could also go receiver.
Yeah, they don't have anyone to catch the ball right now. No one.
So, yeah, they'll be good though. Like I said earlier, this is a
They didn't have
receiver
anyone
heavy.
to catch the ball this year.
This is
So
a receiver heavy draft. They'll be able to pick up receivers elsewhere.
okay, so I'm going, we all know that the Cowboys are stacked with weapons. They did lose a running back. They lost Tony Pollard. There's
Yep.
not any running back anywhere worth the value here. They could go defense. It's going to be some new systems going on for them. However, they got to protect their greatest asset. So I think this is where we see our first center come off the board. So if you go over to center, I'm debating between which one I want to take here.
Where
Interior O line.
there they are.
Oh, debating between these two gentlemen right here. Ultimately, I think they take Johnson.
Out of Oregon.
Yeah.
All right. The Green Bay Packers are
I already know
now.
the perfect pick right here for them.
Yep. They
It's the
got.
most Green Bay pick it could be.
Where's that?
You tried to give him to an NFC North rival a moment ago.
Oh, Cooper TG. So
That's
I mean,
that. I
they
mean,
need a
Lucas Van
safety.
Ness. They doubled down in Iowa first round picks.
They
It
do
just
need a
feels like
safety,
something the
and
Packers would do,
we'll go
not
there.
to make your pick for you.
Right. There you
Uh,
go.
So this is another interesting one here. We could look at guards, we can go center. However, there's a kid out here who's I think could have the potential to go earlier than he did, and that's Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. That's where Tampa Bay is going to go.
Okay. Arizona Cardinals, they address their receiver issue up at pick 4 with Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, I think now that they're going to go with Kool-Aid and they're going to address their cornerback need there.
And if this draft couldn't happen better for the Buffalo Bills right here, as Adonai AD Mitchell is still on the board, and that's where we're going with
All right.
good old AD Mitchell.
All right. The Detroit Lions really have some needs on the interior part of their offensive line. And we're going to go with Cooper Baby out of Kansas State, the guard out of there.
So, hey, that's a massive jump. We've seen interior offensive linemen. The grades are always all over the board.
Yep.
So once again, I think that's going to be a solid pick for them as well. Baltimore, we know that they want a receiver. Like I said, this is a team that if we see the Broncos make a move with Cortland Sutton, I definitely think there's the writings on the wall. If Cortland Sutton's moved, this is where he's going in some shape or form. However, right now they got Zay Flowers. They definitely need to get Lamar Jackson some more weapons. However, I'm not sure if they really love Troy Franklin's value here. He's been a name that's been kind of slipping lately, being kind of left off of some draft boards, falling out of the top 50. Another big area they lost Patrick Queen to division rival over there in Pittsburgh. Could they look at a Peyton Wilson to come in and shore up that interior inside linebacker? Excuse me. I think right now just the receiver value is not what they want. I think they were hoping AD Mitchell would fall or they'd find a way to move up and maybe grab him in this scenario. But with that said, I think they're going to take Peyton Wilson, inside linebacker.
All right. And next on the clock with the 31st pick is the San Francisco 49ers. They are looking for probably some offensive line help and also some defensive back help. I'm going to say, probably the best value for them right now is maybe Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota safety.
All right, and that leaves me with your Vikings. You gave me the Vikings. You took away the Chiefs where I was going to sabotage them. No, I'm just kidding. If the Chiefs stay here, there's a receiver I think that they absolutely love, and it just feels like it fits their vibe, and that's Lad McConkey out of Georgia. If they're on the board here, I think that's where they could go. The Vikings are kind of one of those teams. They're gonna go in with Sam Darnold. They're gonna stay committed to him. Could this be where a Michael Penix comes off the board? I don't think so. I think he's gonna slide a little bit further back. With that being said, Byron Murphy is still on the board, and that's just absolutely craziness. The dude's an interior wrecker. They need a difference maker, and I think he gives them the best chance of being a difference maker with what we have left on the board right now. So they'll take the D lineman and Byron Murphy the second.
All right, and there we go. So just a little bit of fun here, the way Matt and I think it'll shake out a little bit. And this could seriously happen. The Broncos may sit there and their guy, they may say, well, we don't want to, take Bo Nix at 12 or whoever at 12 and trade back thinking that he's going to go there. And you may have other teams that, are trying to address quarterback needs for the future as well. So it can be tricky, Matt. You may have to overpay for a quarterback in this draft if you really love the guy and you want him.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we really don't know, as we approach this quarterback market, it's so hard because everyone's overvalued them. Everyone has a different grade on them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's truly who does Sean Payton value the most and where does he value that player at?
Right. Now, and I heard the Broncos actually went up to Michigan and worked out J.J. McCarthy. Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
I mean, they've had workouts with a few of them privately. So, I mean,
And I
even
think
like,
they just went up to Michigan today and worked out J.J. McCarthy.
yeah, I
Is it
mean, it
today or
could just be
yesterday?
the availability in the schedule. I definitely
Right.
think that's what it is.
So
I mean, he just came out. I mean, McCarthy, I believe, was just in Washington with like several other players.
right.
So it's interesting. Pre-draft visits are hard, where they often feel they get the best look at the quarterback to get to pick his brain. I mean, ultimately, it's going to be the tape that tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when it comes to this quarterback, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Denver take a quarterback in round one. I'm just
I
not.
wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to get back into round two, hoping Bo Nix is going to slide back there. If he doesn't, then a Spencer Rattler, a Michael Pratt, someone like that, somebody else that their stock's rising a little bit. They're not up into the first round grading with the others, but I think a lot of quarterbacks are being overvalued, like you said, and there's just so many quarterback hungry teams to try to grab a quarterback that, people are going to get snatched up earlier than you want, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I've been sitting here and I've been trying to think about how I would like this to play out personally. Um, Unless you have a shot, I mean, I wouldn't even say, in my opinion, the quarterback we know is going to be the bona fide star out of this class. What we're told, what we've seen. Yeah, there's some mental issues. Sometimes there's some leadership, maybe flaws, maybe some poor sportsmanship characteristics at time. In Caleb Williams, but we know that the dude is he's a legitimate talent. So I mean, we don't have a shot at him. We know that's not going to happen. Jaden Daniels is improved year after year. We really, but there's some concerns about his build at this level. Can he bulk up? He's sitting out 205. Can he take the hits at the NFL level? Will he fall back to those old tendencies of trying to run too much? We don't know. It's a crapshoot. You get to Drake May. Some people love him, some people hate him. McCarthy, he's carried by Michigan. Nix and Penix ran gimmick. There's going to be a knock on every single one of these guys. But at the end of the day, Sean Payton's got to take the guy he feels is going to make the biggest impact. And your guess is as good as mine as who that could be.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Sean Payton has, been pretty quiet. Him and George Payton both said, yeah, there's a high possibility that we will be aggressive in trying to move up to get our guy. So, I mean, it makes you think it's one of the big four, unless they're just, throwing up more smoke screens again, like people
Yeah.
do this time of year. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
going back to what he said at the conference, we like 7 or 8 guys. Okay,
right,
great. So we know 1 through 4 likely are probably not realistic guys in from Williams through McCarthy.
right,
Who are the real 3 quarterbacks that you may like? Is it Nix? Is it Penix? And is it Rattler? Or
right.
what combo is these guys? And just because you like them, does that mean you love them for round 1? So I don't know. I'll be sad if it's not a quarterback, even though I'm not sold on a quarterback at 12 big value.
And it's funny that this just popped up because I was going to say, Matt, the last time you and I did a draft coverage was when Justin Fields slid to the Broncos at 9, and boy, we were high fiving each other. We were all happy. And then next thing you know, we picked PS2. Maybe hindsight, maybe it was a good pick. I still think Justin Fields can be successful. I think he has the talent. I think he just needs to get into a right system. I just don't know if a Sean Payton system is the right system for him. So,
And if we're being honest, I think we both know that it's probably not. Justin Fields has some but sitting and trying to pick apart and utilize the middle of the field is not his strength.
right,
So as much as some people are like, oh, I really would love for him to be here, for the price they got him, it would have been absolutely worth a shot based off just that compensation that it took to get Fields. So on that note, it would have been worth the flyer to maybe try to pursue him. Could it have worked out? Sure, but just like we're talking, could Zach Wilson work out for possibly the same compensation? Who truly knows which way these guys are going to go? But if I had to go off, like I said, Peyton values systemic fit. I think that quarterback is Bo Nix. Now, do you value Bo Nix at 12 or do you value Bo Nix at 25? Is going to be the question I think we have to kind of get
right.
into.
And do you run the risk of somebody in between 12 and 25 grabbing him ahead of you? And these are the things that keep these guys up at night. Um, you know,
Yeah, I mean, and we truly never know which way these drafts will go. If we look at last year, no one envisioned the Texans doing what they did to completely derail the board
right,
and in getting Stroud, then moving back up to get Will Anderson. Who knows what kind of craziness could happen? Is it the Seahawks who say, "Oh my gosh, we absolutely love JJ McCarthy so much," or maybe the Patriots take McCarthy and now everyone's on fire for Drake May at 4. Who
hmm
knows how this could go? We hear all these speculations of these guys are going to go 1, 2, 3. I mean, as of right now, there's only one bona fide truth and one bona fide fact, and that we know that that's Caleb Williams is going to the Bears.
right.
Anything after that is who
Yeah,
knows.
if Caleb Williams doesn't go to the Bears, I will be shocked.
Yeah,
You know,
whoever put a bet on that will have a plethora of money coming to them.
right, right,
Um,
definitely. So, all right, everybody. Hey, it's going to all shake out in 6 days. Make sure you join us here on the Orange and Blue Hour. We'll be going live at 5:30. Correct, Matt? That's when the draft
yeah,
begins.
we're gonna
So,
get on right before the draft.
so
and we'll
Make
have a
sure you
good
guys
panel of
come
people
in,
rotating through.
spend the evening with us, give us your thoughts. We'll sort of break down the picks and everything else, and we'll all be excited to see who our Denver Broncos pick. But again, hey, Matt, great being back on the air with you. I am excited about this. And then after the draft, we will definitely get into breaking down what the Broncos need and how things are going to look for next year. But excited to be back on the air with you, Matt.
And I'm just stoked for that. The only other quick Broncos tidbit that we have, everyone's seeing leaks fly around. Who knows what's
Oh
real?
my
Who knows
goodness.
what's not? The Denver Broncos will be getting new jerseys here in roughly 3 days. Come Monday, we will see what is true and what these new jerseys are going to look like. New ownership, new coach, possibly new quarterback, and new uniform to usher in a new era and close out the past. And who knows, maybe it's what we need to win this horrific playoff drought.
Yes, that would be great. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for throwing all your comments, questions in there. We really appreciate it. Again, join us Wednesday. We will have a blizzard warning on Wednesday evening. I believe there may be a playoff special blizzard warning this weekend. So stay tuned to Colorado Sports Connect. As soon as we nail down the details on that, we'll get it put out there. But you guys go over there and support. If you're a hockey fan, go over there and support Kiz and Jenna. They do a great job of talking Avalanche hockey, and we got a big series against the Winnipeg Jets coming up. So get over there, support that. We got the Nuggets tip off tomorrow against the Lakers. Matt, you got a prediction on that series?
I think the Nuggets close it out in 5.
Yeah, that's I was hoping for a sweep. I just don't see it this year, but I'm gonna go 5 as well. I think the Nuggets in 5. Don't think the Lakers have the horsepower to hang with the Nuggets. So
We
um,
got an Avalanche prediction really quick.
I have gone public and said that I think the Avalanche will be a quick exit from the playoffs. They were outscored, I believe, 17-4 against Winnipeg this season and 3 losses to the Jets. So unless this team gets hot, I saw one thing last night that gave me a little bit of hope, and that's having Val back. The choo-choo train. That guy, he just adds another element to that team. I think he has some toughness defensively. Um, so we'll see if they can come out and hang, maybe even steal game 1 at Winnipeg, Sunday. So we'll see. But I've said that I think they're going to lose in 5 or 6. So, but hopefully I'm wrong on that one. How about your pick?
I'm just not confident in the goaltending. I'm just not. Emotions are running hot with Georgie. I'm just not. I think I'm with you. I think this will be a first round exit.
Yeah. And if you guys want hockey, like I said, check out our
Blizzard
Blizzard
warning. This is
warning.
Broncos talk.
Yeah, we also have Graham Tika, who writes for another platform. So check him out, look him up. He
Mile
does some
high
good
sticking.
writing. Yeah, Mile High Sticking does some great articles for them. Check him out. You want some Avalanche info? Get with Graham. He will fill your head with all the info you want. Um, we have our country and club, which is our Colorado Bucks and Colorado Rapids soccer
There
coverage.
you
Check
go.
them out on Thursdays at 4:30. And then Orange and Blue will normally be at what time?
Thursday, 6:30.
Okay, this week we will be going early though because of the draft, and then on Fridays we have our Mile High breakdown. We'll be going live again when the draft starts on Friday, and then also on Sundays we have Rocky Mountain Blitz with Eddie Keating. So check him out. This Sunday is going to be his first episode on the Colorado Sports Connection platform. He's already has some stuff out there on YouTube, so check him out. But hey, guys, we're trying to grow this place. So if you want to join us, reach out to either Matt, myself, or Graham, and we will hopefully get you in the air. We're also going to be looking for writers in the future as we try to develop the writing platform. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Go Avs, go Nuggets, and Broncos. Let's please, please, please get this right next Thursday.
Amen to that.
All right, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks, Matt. Good night, Graham. Thank you.